Good evening, everybody. Joe from NDB Aviation, and tonight coming to you from a different video angle, and you can see how small my office is here, but tonight I'm going to do an unboxing of the Honeycomb Aeronautical Alpha Yoke and switch panel. This video will be about what's in the box, box material, security of the product, included items, and then we're going to talk about the initial impression, so overall build quality and the actual design of the product. And then comparison to other products in the sense of the size, feel, and in later videos I'm going to talk about how it overall fits into my sim setup. So this video is really aimed at those that are still in the market looking to buy a yoke to pair with either their Logitech throttle quadrants or some other throttle quadrant you may have bought for a consumer grade flight sim setup, or if you bought the package deal of the Honeycomb Aeronautical Alpha and the Bravo, what you're going to have when it finally comes in. Now, I know there are a couple stores online that have stock of at least the Alpha. The Bravo is still being shipped slowly. It's coming stateside, it's coming into Europe, it's coming to other places around the world slowly as they catch up with that demand and the shortage of parts due to COVID. Just like many other things, like if you're building a PC these days, you know that it's hard to come by anything that's computer-based, microchip-based, or just overall production based right now due to the pandemic. So this is a mostly unscripted video. All I have is my notes to help me stay on track, and there will be timestamps throughout the video. I'm going to put forth basically my background in flight sim for the last 10 years and further going back before it became a professional thing for me, and my overall flight and aviation experience in general, just to apply to this knowledge base and what I think of this product and how it fits into the overall ecosystem and catalog of consumer grade flights and peripherals. So there will be some mistakes along the way. I'll try to clean it up as much during editing, but if you've watched any of my other videos, you already know I'm a warn take person. I go all the way through, and it's very rare you see me cut and change anything. So let's jump in. I have not opened this product yet. I got it in about a week ago. Let's see what's inside the box. So like a lot of products these days, we have a sleeve. Let's get that out of the way. And have a nice, pretty well secure box here. I like the design cues that go with the box. It's nicely protected for the product inside. And let's go ahead and flip this on its side here. So what falls out first? A couple of things. Let me move this out of the way. We have the Ethernet cord, which we'll be finding out exactly what that goes for in a little bit. And then we have, again, a USB-C cable. This is something I really like. It's not just because I'd like to then borrow this and use it for charging my cell phone. No, what I like about USB-C is it's forward thinking. A lot of products are going this way, and instead of being lazy and going with micro USB, USB-C is a nice decision moving forward for the future. Who knows what Honeycomb has thought of in the future going forward, and then other products to integrate with this, but it's a good idea. Good base plate. This is looks like the exact same one they use on the Bravo. Sturdy, holds pretty well. We have our manual, or if you watched a Disney movie about a little robot, we have the manual, and we have manual. We have our partner offers. Ooh, what's inside? Do I get a free airplane, guys? No. Let's see. Together We Fly, EAA, AirVenture. If you haven't gone to AirVenture, that's a really good time. I worked that for several years in a row for Saitek. It was a good time. X-Plane 11. Yeah, if you're somebody that's studying to become an IFR student, commercial pilot, or overall are very serious about flight simulation for training purposes, this is gonna be the better one to go with for now. Sorry, Microsoft and Asobo. I know Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 is going to catch up, but if you're really doing any training for most purposes, as of right now, it's actually April 2021 now, X-Plane's still the way to go. I know that Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 will catch up, but overall X-Plane, pair it with the Glime stuff that you can use it with, and then I've never done anything with these guys, but I've seen them start. I'm old, but Pilot Edge, they've come a long way, and it's a great system to use if you're training. Oh, and Aerosoft, they've been around forever. Always have some pretty cool stuff. Nice add-ons for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, as we can see from the avatorial in here. But I've always felt comfortable buying from Aerosoft and the way they back up their products. Ooh, real sim gear. I'm happy to see that in here. That's something that I'd love to see integrated with all this in the future. So plastic, goodbye. I'll have to pick that up later, make sure the kids don't get to it. I do like the fact that, I know this is digressing partially, but one of the things that I really like about how Honeycomb has done this, when I first got these, it was a pretty lackluster packaging process, and I kind of remember that, even though it's almost been a decade. But the way they packaged the Saitek product years ago, I was never really happy about how they shipped and the way they came out. Now, mine have worked for all this time, and my TPM was packaged a lot better, but the way that they've packaged and have the molded styrofoam for all the Honeycomb Aeronautical products, I really liked the setup they did. So let's see what else we got in here. We've got our clamps, same clamps that we have with the Bravo. These are sturdy. I think overall, my impression of how well these clamps work, my 5-year-old has done her best to fly every fighter jet I can throw at her in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and X-Plane 11, and a beta of an F-15 and X-Plane 11. We've had a lot of fun, but the Bravo from Honeycomb Aeronautical with these clamps and the base, I think she's almost pulled over the table I have on there for holding everything up before that's even budged. So the clamps are a good product. I like the decision they went with for that. So overall, box materials, Honeycomb, you guys did a great job. You know, the only thing I see being a potential hazard to anything I've seen so far, from unboxing the Bravo to now unboxing the Alpha, is something I saw years ago at Oshkosh when a forklift drove through a pallet of our product we were selling for Saitek. That is about all. Oh, and maybe if the ship sinks, bring it over from wherever it's manufactured at. That would be another hazard that the box isn't going to save it. So let's turn this thing on its side. As you can see, we've got the Alpha here. It's well placed within some great molded styrofoam. So the nice thing is about the way this is all packaged, what I like especially is the fact that if, say, you move to a new house, or say you're moving offices, so say, I'm using that term way too much. You're a flight school, or you're a solo CFI, or a couple of buddies that have gone in on a flight simulator setup. It's not FAA certified. With everything they give you in this box, from the parts that you have to have versus some extraneous things, in a sense of most people will take this and just throw it away. But if you're somebody that's looking at moving your flight sim setup from time to time, keeping this box is going to help secure the longevity of your product and keep it going longer than if you just threw this away and then threw it in the back of your truck, your car, whatever, and drove around with it willy-nilly, bouncing around every which way. So hold on to these products. I think you're going to be happy to hold on to this, especially the styrofoam, because in my future, as an airline pilot, at some point I'm going to move. So it's going to be great to have all this product still hanging around and still usable for packaging this stuff up and taking it with me. So let's take this out, and inside of all this plastic we have our Alpha Yoke. Woohoo. Let me place this just over here, and nice protective layer on the front. More plastic, more plastic. All right, so let's come in a little bit closer. We have our mounting points for the Alpha on the bottom. The base plate goes in here, and then you secure from there. You have your risers to help it sit better on your table against the mount itself. On the back, we've got the USB-C plug. We've got our LED light button, so turning the LEDs off and on. Cool feature. It's not something that really is a selling point to me. I think it's pretty neat, but you know, talking about the overall build and design of this product, it's kind of nice to have a lighting effect. I know a lot of people like RGB lights for their computers, but for me, it's kind of a hit and miss thing. It's cool, it's fun, but at least having the lighting, if you're in a dark sim environment, you have something to backlit or backlight all of your product here. What I do like are just the overall design features here, because I've played with this a couple years ago. I saw some initial design cues and drawings way back when, and I was really wondering how this was going to feel. And I've seen this at Worn Place. I've seen it with a friend that had one. He sent me some pictures. But what I do like is this reminds me of some other products. The way the centering spring goes, I got to hold it a little bit tighter, I guess. But, you know, taking it full deflection, which is, ooh, big deal. Got a full 90 instead of, oh, the Logitech and the CH stop at 45 degrees. Oh, my goodness. To me, it's a big deal. I know I complain about that one a lot. But overall, I do like the way this feels. Centering spring, everything else feels pretty good. Switch-wise, nothing sounds cheap overall. Like, yeah, it's all plastic. It's a consumer-grade flight sim product, but nothing feels loose, and nothing feels like it's a hodgepodgery of parts. So I look forward to testing this out in the sim here in a few days. The switches on top, I like the design here, so let me come a little bit closer. I don't think I really have a light in the perfect spot for this, so let me move one of my lights here. And you can see almost the inner workings of these switches on top. Now, is that going to be a problem moving forward? I don't think so. But one thing that is pretty cool, and this is something that I saw on a couple of, well, on the CJ2 I flew a long time ago, and then on the regional aircraft I fly now, is you have these dual switches that you can assign for trim. And it's nice because that's a safeguard. Instead of just going worn, the trim doesn't really want to work in some of the aircraft the way they're made, but you have to hit both at the same time, which is kind of getting you ready for the muscle memory if you do plan to train and move up to larger aircraft, or even if you're just enjoying a high fidelity of flight simulation. Having these dual switches is great. Now, the other nice thing nice function of this is you don't have to do it the way that it may have been intended. You could then maybe reassign all these switches to really work exactly the way you want. Now, I've seen some commentary out of the box. There are some great functions and ideas that Honeycomb has done for both the Bravo and the Alpha that right now, that straight out of the box, before you do any of the glitch fixes, before you use any third-party apps or software suites to make it do exactly what you want, there are some little issues and idiosyncrasies here and there with Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. With X-Plane 11 and Prepare 3D, I've heard that with the software suite on top and the ability to just straight up assign everything, these work really well. But I've heard there's some weird issues going on. I've seen them. I'm not going to cut and paste a bunch of videos or links into my comment section below because you're going to find the glitch fixes. Just search either Bravo or Alpha or Honeycomb Aeronautical Bravo, Honeycomb Aeronautical Alpha glitch fixes for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, and you'll see some ways to fix some of the issues you might run across. But this is not something coming down to the Honeycomb products not working. No, this is something coming down to the fact that we have a certain coding going on for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, and Asobo is handling a lot of the coding for the Honeycomb products. So you might kind of run into these little issues here and there. They are solvable, but it is nothing against these products. If you go into the Windows controller or even the Mac controllers and you see, you know, your axes, all your buttons, everything shows up. Everything's working, at least on mine. If they don't show up and they don't work, please contact Honeycomb and let them know, and they should get back to you. But overall design, this is very similar to this. You've seen me talk about this in 3 different videos. And what I like so far about the Alpha is that I don't have any crazy switch points. I don't have any jagged edges. I like the way the spring comes back. It's lively, and it's not overly sensitive like some of my older products were at times when I had to break them in. And I don't see any loose edges. This is something that wasn't always the case when I sold Saitek, and it wasn't always the case when I bought Logitech way back in the day, especially that last force feedback that Logitech made. So overall design and build quality I see are top notch. These are some of the best produced units that you can buy that are consumer grade and kind of bridging up against something above consumer grade right now that you can get out there for flight sim. And I know I say get, you gotta wait for it because what I said earlier, there's a shipping issue or just overall, maybe not shipping, but everybody's backlog due to COVID and production across the planet. But if you're going to be buying a flight sim setup, I think these 2 pieces are great, and I think they do a great job replacing these legacy products I have. Now, given mine are the old Saitek, if you buy these new, they're going to be coming from Logitech, and from what I've heard, they're pretty much straight up the same thing, just like the old Saitek Yoke. It only goes 45 degrees, whereas this goes 90 degrees, more realism. It's more like the actual aircraft you might fly. And I had this conversation once, so I know somebody's going to bring it up sooner or later. Joe, you are never going to fully deflect your ailerons. You know, that might be a good point. But so far, between my instructing career and my time at the airlines, I can think of a few times where I've gone full 90-degree deflection in multiple aircraft for either correcting for, I'm not going to say wind shear, maybe gusts, maybe on the ground taxiing. There are plenty of times where the aircraft has been pushed to its certified maximum abilities and my maximum abilities, and I have used every bit of control surface that I had at my utilization to make sure I had the best possible outcome I could have. So yeah, I've gone full deflection on my aileron controls. I have not gone full deflection on all other controls, but I've come close depending on what I've been doing in aircraft. I have done some aerobatic training, but overall, I think the build quality, the fit and finish is great. This feel in comparison to other products out there right now, like I've already said, these border on becoming products that are just outside of the consumer grade range. That's how well I think they're produced and the overall fit and finish. But let's get the Bravo out of the way and let's bring in the good old joystick that I have so you have a size comparison. So here's the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. It's a product I recommend if you're going for the most affordable starter joystick for any flight simming or space simulation. This is probably your best bet price-wise. It's not very large, but when you look at it side by side, and I'll stand these up, here's the Alpha, here is the Extreme 3D Pro. Rather large footprint, and when you take into the full account of range of motion for the Alpha Yoke here, you are looking at quite a bit of table space you're going to need, or at least office space. I have a pretty tiny office. It works out pretty well here, but this I think is still worth it. And then let me pull out, as a comparison, my good old trusty, not so dusty, Saitek Cessna yoke. As you can see, pretty close. You know, I'm going to put the Cessna yoke in front of the Alpha, and overall I think, you know, pretty similar footprint. It's pretty similar to the Logitech yoke right now and the CH yokes. One thing I do like better though is the overall spring mechanism. Yeah, that I just almost destroyed the Cessna yoke. But yeah, The spring mechanism is much nicer in the Alpha, and yeah, that was the only Saitek yoke that went a full 90 degrees. Logitech has decided not to manufacture this housing and this product, and it probably came down to licensing issues. So size and feel, I think this is pretty spot on size-wise comparison to anything else on the market. You're not going to need that much more space in general, and you get a lot more functionality on it. You know, you have to go buy the switch panel from Logitech now just to get all these switches that are on here, and your starter switch as well. So you have a great yoke with great switches and functionality, customizability built on to the top, which far exceeds pretty much any single engine, non-complex GA aircraft, but fits in well if you're going to plan to fly anything that is complex all the way up to a large jet aircraft like an airliner or a cargo aircraft. So this is really getting to the point where you're covering all your bases and you get a lot into your sim experience to increase your realism as much as you can at a consumer grade level. So in the coming videos, what I plan to do is I'm going to talk about how this fits into my ecosystem. So it's going to be the Alpha with the Bravo. One of these days, I can't wait to see them bring out the rudder pedals. Are they going to be called the Charlies? I don't know. I'm sure they have a name already. But I think this product really fits into the overall flight sim catalog really well. I think the Alpha is the alpha of the pack. There's nothing like this on the market. I know I said that about the Bravo, because the Bravo fits into a category almost all its own, because you have all of the customizability that the Bravo brings. It ties in the autopilot panel on top. You get all these assignable axes, and I know axes come and go, and they are already on the Saitek or Logitech. They're on the other products already. But you have all this functionality built in, especially a trim wheel. It has some compromises, but overall it works the way it's supposed to, and you can program it better through third-party software or apps. So with all that said, if you can wait for it, get the Alpha. If you're really trying to maximize your realism and flight sim experience in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 or X-Plane 11, or even prepare 3D version 5, I think it is now, this is a great combination. I can't wait to see their rudder pedals. I know they have a lot more in the works and in the plans coming in the future at some point, and I can't wait to see all those as well. Joe from NDB Aviation, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this. If you didn't like it, tell me what you didn't like, and I'll try to do a better unboxing next time. But I thought it'd be worth taking the time and giving my 2 cents about this product. Stay safe out there. Stay healthy. See you again real soon. Bye-bye.